It's that time again, it certainly is. We're going to have a sunny day today, just organising my desk here. What am I doing? 16 centigrade, 60 Fahrenheit, 73% humidity, 1019, and the flag, that's millibars, 1019. The flag isn't really doing much at all, and the time is 6:30 in the morning. Thank you for all your emails and messages. I love reading them all. Rants@protonmail.com if you've anything to say. There's a lady here that's got something to say. Hello, Ethel. She says, I'm in my 80s. Not me, she. I'm in my 70s. Lovely to hear you, Ethel. In your 80s. Well done. Ethel says that she wants to have a little moan about her village. She's not mentioned the village, probably to protect the guilty. Years ago, she says, we had a little school here, which was for the village children. That disappeared. They now have to go to school a few miles away. We had a little post office, she says. That was handy. The post office, just down the road in the village. That's gone. We now have to go into town, which is 3 or 4 miles away. So the post office has gone and the village school has gone. She does say that it's not a tiny village. It's not just a row of 8 houses, you know. It's a fair-sized village, but not huge. What's the difference between a village and a town? I don't know. Anyway, Ethel, the post office went, the school went, the village pub went. The village pub closed down. Oh no, sacrilege. You can do without a school and a post office, but not without the pub. Stone the crows. Anyway, the pub disappeared. There was a village store, like a little corner shop, sold all sorts of things, which was really useful. That disappeared, she says, because the local garage disappeared. Now, the garage did a few car repairs and sold petrol and diesel. Now, you're thinking, why has the village shop closed down? Because the garage is gone. Ethel explains what happened. A supermarket opened, this is a number of years ago, and they started selling petrol, far cheaper than the garage could ever sell it. In fact, they were selling it cheaper than the garage chap was buying it. Now, the locals tried to keep him going by buying his petrol, but the thing is, the supermarket was so much cheaper than the village shop. They tried to support the village shop, but they just couldn't do it in the end. And when the garage closed, people were forced to drive to the town to get petrol. The supermarket sold petrol, so they had to go to the supermarket to get petrol. And while they were there, they bought things from the supermarket. So the garage closed down, sending people to the supermarket petrol station. The village shop closed down because, oh, you see what I mean? It's all a nightmare. She does say, I know people are going to say, well, it's the villagers' fault. We tried, she says, we tried to keep the shop going. We tried to keep the petrol station going. And she says, we tried, she's put me in particular, tried to keep the pub going. Well done, Ethel. Go down to the pub at every opportunity. I like the sound of that. So now she's saying the village hasn't got a pub, a petrol station, a post office, a local shop, and even, this made me laugh, Ethel, even your red telephone box has gone. Oh, stone the crows. They've taken your red telephone box. That's a criminal offence, surely. And, of course, the school, that's disappeared as well. Something else that has disappeared is the bus service. It wasn't a double-decker bus, it was a single coach type bus. Ethel says it visited 3 times a day, came to the village, first of all in the morning, then around lunchtime, then later in the afternoon. 3 visits a day to the village, and it was used. She says not everyone here's got a car, so she relied on the bus. That bus has now gone. According to the bus company, it's just not profitable to run a bus to the village and back 3 times a day. It was costing them money. While I was reading that part, Ethel, of your email, I was thinking of Dr. Beeching closing down the little village railway stations and the branch lines. And I went on to read that you'd lost your local railway station many years ago, this is. You had a little village station there. That went years ago. So what have you got left? What's going to happen next? So you're going to have your electricity supply cut off to the village because it's not profitable to keep the overhead lines running, because no doubt they have to run along country lanes and they need maintenance and all that. So they'll cut the electricity off. We can't afford that. Cut it off. You probably haven't got gas anyway. Not mentioned gas, but a lot of villages don't have gas because the gas company can't be bothered or can't afford. Well, they should be able to afford it. The prices they charge for the stuff. They should be able to afford to put a gas main in, surely. About 10 years ago, we lost our local little ironmonger. He was just round the corner, 5 minutes walk. and he sold all sorts of bits and pieces, screws, nails, gardening bits and pieces, seeds for garden, planting a greenhouse and growing your tomatoes and cucumbers. You name it, he sold it, whether you wanted a door hinge, a bolt for the back gate, a little tin of oil, a screwdriver, a pair of pliers. He had everything there. It was a wonderful shop. And we went in there one day, Tricia and I went in there, and he said, "Oh, sad news, I'm closing down." He was nearing retirement age, but he did say that he wasn't ready to retire. He was going to go on a few more years, but he just couldn't compete with the big shops, the big stores that sell all this stuff, all the gardening stuff, and they were selling it cheaper than he was buying it from his supplier. So he just had to close down. We tried to keep him going. I often pop round there for bits and pieces. It's not too bad, Ethel, where we are, because we are just near the town. We're almost in the town. But of course, if you're in a country village like you are, and you've got no bus, no school, no pub, that's the important thing, the pub, no telephone box. I mean, you don't need a telephone box these days, I know. No little garage where you buy your petrol, no village store. What have you got left? Nothing, presumably. Oh, and there's one thing on my list, one thing I left off. You don't have the local police station anymore. Apparently years ago there was a police house with a policeman there. He lived there and he was on call more or less 24 hours a day. That's gone. You don't even see the village bobby cycling around on his bicycle anymore. Do you have a postman? I wonder, Ethel, do you have a postman? Can the post office be bothered to come and deliver mail to your village? Or is it too far for them to drive out? Cost too much money? It's all a great shame, isn't it? And as I've been saying recently about villages just outside of town, builders are trying to grab the land between the town and the village to build a load of houses. So then the village isn't a separate entity anymore. It just becomes part of the sprawling town. I think it's all a great shame, to be honest. Sorry about the low hum type background noise. I don't know what some idiot's doing out there. Some council worker doing something, I don't know. Wasting our money, I expect. Amy, lovely, listen to that. What are they doing? Amy, lovely to hear from you. Now, you say that your dad was always whistling. Apparently Americans, because Amy, you live in Seattle, don't you? Apparently Americans don't whistle. Except for Amy, because she gets it from her dad, who was in England. I whistle, Amy, I whistle all the time. Do you remember whistling Jack Smith? Do you remember that record? I actually did that quite well. I'm impressed. I should have put a bit of background to it, a bit of background music. I whistle all the time. It sometimes annoys Tricia because I will only perhaps whistle the chorus of a certain song. And she says, why don't you whistle the whole song? If you have to whistle at all, just don't keep doing the chorus on its own over and over again. Yes, good point, good point. So do people still whistle in England? Yes, they do. Not many. Oh, and was it annoying? Yes, it is. It is annoying. It annoys Tricia. Also, Amy is mentioning kids' birthday parties. Bah humbug. Did they used to be such a big deal? People now, she's saying, rent out an entire space, spend a fortune on snacks, bouncy castles, entire venues for hundreds of dollars. And she says, when I was a kid, Mum made a cake and a couple of friends came over to play. That's it, Amy. That's what we had here. I remember being invited to children's birthday parties when I was at school. Not that I wanted to go, because I didn't like the kids. But I'd go along there and I'd take a little present, some daft little toy or something, and we'd have jelly and ice cream, and there'd be balloons, and we'd sit at the table, there'd be a birthday cake, and that was it. Families didn't spend hundreds of dollars or hundreds of pounds on huge venues and all that sort of thing. Some of the kids' birthday parties today, you'd think it was a special wedding reception or something like that, or an anniversary. The money that's spent and hiring out huge places and all, I don't know. Had my mother said, your birthday's coming up, what we're going to do is hire a massive hall, we're going to hire professional entertainment, caterers to do all the food, I would have said, can I just go and sit in the woods on my own and celebrate that way? I would prefer to go and sit in the woods, honestly, than all that nonsense. We're coming up to 10 minutes of this midweek message. What shall we talk about Sunday? I've had a couple of ideas. I've written them down from emails. Now, where's my piece of paper? I've no idea. It seems to be lost. No, it's here somewhere. Something isn't lost if you know where it is. It's somewhere in all these papers all over my desk, so it's not lost. It's there somewhere, unless it's, unless it's gone on the floor. It was funny yesterday. Trisha's working round number 3 daughter's cake shop. She tried to help out because the shop's getting very busy. Of course, daughter is busy doing the baking of all the cakes and stuff, so she needs someone to serve in the shop. She can't do both. Trisha's round there this week, and the postman turned up. I had my instructions yesterday, 3 parcels to give to him. He would give me 3 labels to stick on the parcels. I had to get the right label on the right parcel. Anyway, he turned up, and I said to him, I'm home alone and I'm dangerous. He laughed. He said, well, what have you got? I said, well, I've got 3 parcels here. And I gave them to him. And he said, no, you keep those. I give you these 3 stickers. You stick them on. And in the end, I said, I can't cope with all this. He stuck them on. Then he scanned them and off he went. So now if the labels are on the wrong parcels, he did it, not me. It's not my fault. It's hopeless. Honestly, leaving me home alone is dangerous. I'm not allowed out in public on my own. That's dangerous as well. So I'm in charge here. Gary and I, Gary the tortoise, we're in charge here while Trisha's working round the shop all this week. So I must behave myself. I shall now leave you in peace. Thank you for listening, as always. Ray's Rants at protonmail.com. If you want to complain about anything or just say hello. If you do email me, tell me where you're from in the world. Always interested to know where people are. I shall see you on Sunday with some sort of hour-long episode of ranting and moaning and mumbling and whatever. Oh, don't forget to look at the website, raysrants.info. I haven't added any photos recently because I haven't taken any to add. I don't want to put stuff on there just for the sake of it. But do have a look every now and then. As always, behave yourselves. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Don't do anything dangerous. And don't be bad. And if you are bad, don't get caught. Thanks for listening as always. Hope I haven't bored you too much. I will see you on Sunday. Bye-bye for now.